What it do, Big Blue. We back, baby. Big Blue Prophet and K Money in the house tonight.
What up? What up?
Woo!
What up?
Got a little tongue tied there. It might be because I'm excited. We're playing for a spot in the national championship right now in volleyball.
Yep,
What?
yep, yep.
What?
Wisconsin's out to a lead right now, though. Wisconsin's out to a lead in the first set, but it's all right.
That's
Anytime.
okay. Best of five, best of five. And I just
That's
learned
right.
that. So there's that.
Love it. Love
Did
it.
learn that. I did learn that. What's what's on K Money's mind tonight? What you got brewing up there?
Listen, we got we got a big win over the weekend. Big
Yes, we
win
did.
over Indiana, right? Big win. Kind of kept the momentum going against the JV team that they played. Um, didn't it didn't look great in the first half. You and I were texting each other. We were talking about it. They looked okay, but it didn't look great.
Yep.
Um, and then they came out in the second half and they outscored Indiana by 19. So
Look great.
it looked great. They were playing great defense. They were getting out in transition, which was awesome. They forced 17 turnovers, which was awesome.
Yep.
They only had 3 turnovers themselves. Um, I gotta be honest though, man, this team still can't shoot. They
No,
can't shoot, so
it's scary,
it's
honestly,
very scary, very scary.
because what we gonna do when we need that clutch moment? Who we haven't found that one guy that'd be like, okay, he can go off the screen. If we get him the ball, it's buckets. We don't have that one guy right now. We don't.
No,
Right now, it's a
no,
throw in the air. Like, hell with it. Throw it to, we'll let Oway try it this game. Or Aberdeen. At this point, I'd almost give it to Noah. It's just my opinion. I feel like he's probably the most steady shooter in a way,
I
I
would agree.
guess. I wouldn't give it to anybody else.
No, no, but I mean, Diabate, he's developing into a star right in front of us, in my
Yes,
opinion.
he is.
I think he's a star. Moreno, very solid. He's just consistent. He's been consistent all season. He's been
Yes.
consistent with his effort, consistent with everything. So I think he's going to continue to grow and be the guy that we need. Um, and look, Lowe's a difference maker when he's out there, man. So it's imperative that he stays healthy because if he's not healthy and out on the court, this team suffers.
And it's almost embarrassing. Not embarrassing. Maybe that's the wrong word. I don't even know really the word I'm looking for, but it's insane. I guess we'll use that word for now. Insane how much of a difference it is whenever he's on there and he's not. Like
Yeah,
when he's hurt, we are just horrible. Like I've never seen somebody keep a team together that much where if he's not there, we fall in shambles and we lose by 30.
yeah.
And it's insane. And to go with your Diabate comment, I don't know if I texted you or maybe I was talking to my mom, but that is what we've needed all year right there. Diabate is what we've needed all year, besides obviously Low keeping everything together, but the physicality and the
Yep,
down low.
yep.
You know what I mean? Like he is what we needed, and he came out strong. And if Garrison could be that, we'd be unstoppable.
He has the size to be that.
Yes.
I don't know if he has the heart to be that. That's the problem, right?
And he showed
Um,
up. He showed up. I give him that against Indiana in the second half. He showed up at least.
he did, he did, he did.
Stats don't
I'm,
look
I'm,
great.
I'm going to tell you this. Um, we were just talking about like who's going to be that guy in crunch time. Aberdeen's not afraid to shoot the ball. He
No.
just isn't making them right now. So he's not afraid to shoot the ball. He's not afraid to have the ball in his hands and be that guy. So, I look for him come SEC time. He's going to come up pretty big for us in some of these games because he's not afraid. He's not afraid to have that ball in his hands, and he wants to be the guy. So, I think they're going to keep feeding him and feeding him and feeding him to see what happens. And Cam Williams is the X factor too, man. He could do something for us. He can knock down shots. It's just I don't know where he fits in right now with how they're playing. You
I
know,
agree. I agree. It's almost like when you throw him in, it's almost like honestly throwing a wrench in a bike tire at this point right now until we find our true identity. I think that when you throw Cam Williams in there, like you said, he doesn't really fit what we're doing right this second, or at least with the guys that we had, in my
Yeah.
opinion. If you maybe put some different guys out there with him, with a different type of play set, maybe, but with the starting five, he didn't fit in, and he
No.
won't fit in.
No, I agree. And look, I think the identity of this team is clear, right? They're going to be physical, they're going to play defense, and they're going to get in transition because they're not a half court team that can spot up and shoot the three. They like to shoot the three, but they can't make them right now. They're shooting well under 30% for the year. So that's not a recipe to win in the SEC. So they're going to have to out physical these teams and play good defense. You know?
I agree. I agree. And hopefully, eventually, we can hit some shots because we get into some tight. I mean, I watch Bama and Arizona. Bama's Bama's legit, and they can shoot the ball. They start coming and shooting the ball, and we start missing like we miss. Mm, go ahead. We'll just watch another game. I'll look at the stats in about 20 minutes when the game's over. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even
Yeah.
want to watch the rest of it.
Yeah, because you know what's going to happen. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. And no, I'm okay. I'm
But
okay
yeah,
on that embarrassing loss.
right, right. And look, I'm happy with how they played. I'm happy that they carried the momentum. I'm happy that they beat Indiana. But this isn't like Bobby Knight's Indiana. This is just Indiana. Like first time in
Yep.
Rupp in a long time. They got their butts handed to them in the second half, which Kentucky did what they were supposed to do. Right? They should have beat that team, and they did.
Yep.
So, the real test is going to be this week, man. That's going
Yeah.
to be the real test. Going up against St. John's Saturday, 12:30 in Catlanta, man, in the CBS Classic, and that's going to be
It's
it's going to
whew.
be a tough one. It's going to be a
Yeah.
tough one.
Patino's gonna come for blood. Patino, he won't take it easy on Pope. I don't think.
No,
And
no, not at all.
I think he knows Patino's one of the greatest coaches ever. As much as I hated him when he went to Loserville, definitely one of the greatest coaches ever. And I think he scouted this team out, and I have a feeling he is going to pick us apart. He's going to pick us apart from start to finish. And if Pope does not have any type of coaching ability, honestly, besides, in my opinion, besides the players and getting outplayed out there, we might see the strengths and the weaknesses of Pope's coaching against Pitino.
Yeah,
I really do think that. Like, this is going to be a test for Pope as well, not just the team, but Pope as well. What can you do up against one of the greatest coaches ever? You know what I mean? Like, you lost to Cal when he came. You kind of got outplayed, obviously, but maybe a little outcoached in a way. Redeem yourself with this. Let's see you beat Pitino on the court and coaching wise. That I don't know if that made sense, but I've been thinking about that. Like, I'm like, well, Pope's
no,
gonna
it
have
makes
to
sense.
beat him. Yeah, Pope's gonna have to beat him in coaching. He's gonna have to.
Yeah, I mean, St. John's can score. And they're a physical team as well. They have good pace of play, and look, you know what you're going to get out of a Patino team. No matter where he's gone, it's the 94 feet of hell. Like that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the full court press every now and then. They're going to play solid defense and force you to make mistakes.
Yep.
Um, and the thing with this St. John's team, they keep people out of the paint, right? They do a good job of keeping people out of the paint, which then they force you to shoot the ball. So we're going to need to shoot the ball well in order to have a shot in this game.
Yep. I agree. I agree. And if we don't, yeah, we're screwed. We're screwed. We're screwed. We're so
But
screwed.
it is interesting though. Like this is like the student versus the teacher type thing with Pope versus
Yeah.
Pitino, right? We all know Pope was on the '96 team that won the national championship, and then we all know what Pitino did and decided to leave to go to Boston. And I'm going to get into that during my trash talk segment because I got a whole whole line, the it on Mr. Pitino. But I think it's going to be interesting because, like, if anybody knows, like, the only person that was a former player of Patino that has a winning record against him is Travis Ford. And Travis Ford only played him twice. He's 2-0 against him, right? And I think that was recently when he was at Iona. So it's not like it was when he was at St. John's or anything.
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting. I think, are we going to see? Are we going to see Q? Are we going to see him? Are we going to see him?
I I thought that I read something. I don't know if I read it right. Like I glanced while I was on break, and then I never was able to find it again. But it said
Yeah.
something like, "It's a possibility he plays Saturday. Like it's a real possibility,
Yeah,
right?"
he's practiced. He's practiced. He's done full court practice, everything like that. I don't think they're rolling it out. Now, if he does play, I don't foresee him playing 25 minutes. I think he'll
No.
play 15 minutes or less. But just having him on the court to add that, like, different element, you know what I mean? It'll be a different energy, and I think it'll show everybody what this team is built for. Like, that's
Yep.
that he's the missing piece. So, you know, I'm excited for it, man. I really am, and I think he's going to give them a little different shot in the arm, so to speak, for that in the paint presence that they need.
Yep. And I think, just honestly, as corny as this sounds, seeing him in a jersey and shorts could be a difference maker for the team. At least for me, it will be because I'll be like, oh my God. Like, I'm going to get hyped, even if he plays 3 minutes. I'm still getting hyped because I see him finally in a uniform. I see him in a uniform. It is happening. It is coming. Here it comes. And like you said, he is the missing piece. We've talked about it. I do believe that. I do believe he he is that guy. He is that dude. I
Yeah,
do.
I mean, look, he's not going to shoot at threes. You know what I mean? He's not going to be our
No.
three-point specialist, but he's going to give them energy that they need. Look, my keys for this game for them, like, they need to keep that emotion in check, right? And build off the Indiana win, because we all know that this is an emotional game for them. Student versus teacher, Pope versus Patino. They're going to play it off like it, and downplay it like it's not. We all
Yep.
know it is, you know. So, and they're pretty much playing. We know how it is when the Final Four is in Atlanta and Kentucky's in it. It's Catlanta, like it's Kentucky South. That's what it's going to be. It's
It's
going to be
ours.
filled with a lot of Kentucky fans. So,
Yep.
they need to feed off that crowd and get the crowd into it early. Um, and honestly, I think for me, the biggest key is rebounding. They need to continue to rebound well. And they need to limit the offensive rebounds. They've sucked at that this year. They've allowed too many second chance points with
Yes.
these offensive rebounds. They even allowed Indiana for that. That's why Indiana was so close, and, like, they were winning at the end of the first half, because they out they got, like, I don't know, I think it was like 6 or 7 offensive rebounds, and they had all those second chance points. They got
Yep.
to keep them off the boards, man. They got to box out and just keep them off the boards. That's how this team wins. They got to stay physical like that.
Yeah. The rebounding definitely has to come up. Even if we was hitting shots, I'd say the same thing. Rebound. You gotta rebound more. You got to. You got to, or again, we're screwed. We're not hitting shots and we're not rebounding. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and not even come. Waste the gas to get there. You know what I mean? Let's not even waste the gas. I'm good on it.
Yeah, yeah, and I just when you look at the stats show that they're rebounding okay, right? I think
Yeah.
their rebounds per game and St. John's rebounds per game are pretty even, but it's the offensive rebounds, man. They need to limit those, and that's because with us shooting as poorly as we are, there's going to be a shit ton of rebounds for everybody to get. It's just a matter of, can we get our own offensive rebounds. And we got to limit St. John's offensive rebounds. That's basically what needs to happen.
Yeah. I agree.
But
I agree.
Bryce Hopkins for St. John's, he's a stud. He's a solid player, man. And I think if we can limit him, I think that'll be the X factor for the game. And look, I think the way Diabate played against Indiana, I think he can shut him down. I think he can play solid defense on him and do very well. Do very
And
well.
Bryce Hopkins, he played. Yeah, right?
Yeah,
I'm thinking
former
right?
Kentucky guy.
Okay.
Yep,
All right.
yep, yep,
I was making sure.
yep. Same guy. Same guy.
Okay. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, man. So look, I don't want to go and jinx it or anything like that, but I do feel kind of confident about this game. Because honestly, I don't think St. John's has played that many people. Like our out of conference schedule this year has been a lot tougher than a lot of other players or a lot of other teams.
Absolutely.
I mean, St. John's played Auburn. Okay, congrats. You know, we played North Carolina, Michigan State, Gonzaga. Like, come on.
And it ain't the same Auburn.
No,
No,
no.
no. I
Happy
don't.
Auburn with Bruce Pearl and that type of team, you
No. You might have the same last name, but that ain't the same Auburn. And don't.
know?
Yeah,
Right.
that's a whole other rabbit hole that I could go down it right there with him coaching Auburn and blah 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 blah. No, not the same Auburn. Not the same. No,
Yep.
no,
Yep. Yep.
not.
Uh,
What's the score?
so Wisconsin's still up. They just went to commercial break. I know. I know. They just went to commercial break. So Wisconsin was up. I think it was 13-5, something like that.
Yeah,
It's all right. It's all right. There's still
yeah,
plenty of time. There's still
yeah.
plenty of
Let
time.
them have the first one. Let them have the first one. Let them feel good about themselves. Come
Listen, you're
in.
in the Final Four. It's not going to be easy, you know?
No, no. Well, it was for Texas A&M just a minute ago.
Yeah. Well, you know, you know, it is what it is. I mean, we'll see. I still got confidence. 26 game win streak, as we were talking about earlier. I
Oh
think this
yeah,
team, I think this team is battle tested. So,
I do too.
you know,
Yeah,
and a lot of those wins came in the fifth set. You know, so like they didn't get swept and they didn't sweep too many people. It's been 4 and 5 game sets. So they'll get their shit together.
yeah.
They'll get their shit together.
They're accustomed to getting punched in the mouth and coming out of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. I agree. I agree.
We're talking women's volleyball here, folks. Women's volleyball. Just throwing that out there for you. Oh, there you go. Wisconsin won the first set. There you go.
Okay. All right. Let them have it. Let them have it.
There
Whatever.
you go.
Cool.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Congrats.
Yeah, good job.
This
Good
is
job.
this
They're
is payback. We're about to have payback. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm going to say it anyway. We're
against
about to have
Wisconsin
payback on
in the
Wisconsin.
Final Four.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where my
from
head
Sam
went.
Decker. Yeah,
Yeah,
from Sam Decker.
goddamn dicker. Guy amounted to nothing. You know what? You know what's funny? He's the same as Christian Laettner. They get to the NBA and they do nothing.
Nothing.
But they in
Horrible.
college. In college, they were great and they killed Kentucky. Congrats,
Yeah. And who was the other guy with him? Who's the other guy? Frank Commit
Kaminsky.
Kaminsky. That's it.
Yeah,
Never heard of him again.
no, no. He played for the Bucks for a few years and he didn't do much in the NBA either. He was just a big guy. That's all.
Yeah, he can make some shots.
Yeah, but they had their
Just so
Super Bowl
happened to
against
make.
Kentucky. Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say, just so happened to make a couple big ones against us. But
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Not well timed for us at all. You know.
No, no, not at all. But it's okay. We got payback tonight. Payback tonight.
Hopefully, hopefully.
So this whole new segment we got going on here. Well,
Yes, sir.
you wanna explain it a little more? Maybe we could, you know, how about I say? Hofer will do some magic, chop it up after we release this, and you can kind of explain on what's going to happen every week, what to expect, type stuff.
Yeah. So we came up with this segment. You know, we wanted to do something a little different and kind of get some interaction, right? So the segment's called Trash Talk. So what Trash Talk is going to be every week? It's going to be Cody and I talking about the upcoming opponent, the previous opponent. We're going to talk some trash back and forth. This is the fans' time to hop on, and if you're a fan of that opposing team, hop on and banter with us, or shoot us a
Yeah.
message, shoot us a comment here or there, depending on all the socials. Just shoot us a comment that you want to ask us a question about, or anything like that, right? That's your opportunity to do that. So, with that being said, the first inaugural segment of Trash Talk will be this week, and I'm going to kick it off before I kick it over to Cody.
No,
With
kick it
us
off.
playing,
Kick it
with
off.
with us playing St. John's this week, St.
Uh huh.
John's coach is Mr. Rick Pitino.
Uh huh.
My trash talk segment. I still have anger towards Rick Pitino. Anger. They win the national championship in '96. Then he leaves to go to the Celtics. All
Yep.
because they wanted to go to the Celtics for the Tim Duncan lottery. That's what it was. The Celtics had a 36% chance, and I'm sure if we had our buddy Rick Ramone on, he would chime in on this too. The Celtics had a 36% chance of drafting Tim Duncan. And guess what happened? The Spurs came in and got the number 1 pick. And the Spurs got Tim Duncan. So then Pitino said, shit. This probably wasn't the best idea. I should have stayed at Kentucky. I immediately regret this decision. But he already signed a contract with the Celtics, so he had to stay. He lasted 4 years, and they were shitty years. He didn't make the playoffs. They were bad years. Then the idiot, and I'm going to call him this because he's not with Kentucky, the idiot goes back to college. You want to go back to college? Fine. You realize you made a mistake? You go to Loserville? Loserville is where you go. You were a Kentucky hero for winning a national championship, and then you go to Loserville. And people are always like, why do you hate Pitino? Because he went to Loserville. That's why. And he went there and he had success, and he was there for 16 seasons. 16 seasons. I think, honestly, why I have so much hatred for him and why I'm so pissed off is because that should have been the time that he spent with UK. If he didn't leave to go to the goddamn Celtics, we probably would have had 4 more national championships. We would have had 4 more national championships if he didn't go to the goddamn Boston Celtics in the Timmy Duncan sweepstakes in the lottery. Are you shitting me? That's why he goes there. And then, like I said, they didn't get him. He realized he made a mistake, and then he goes to Loserville, of all things. And we all know how that story ended with the scandals and the recruiting scandals and the pay for play. Well, he was just ahead of his time. Look, that was in
Yeah. At this
2016.
point,
Now, 10 years later, everybody's getting paid to play. Patino was a little smarter back then, but that's why I hate it. I hate it. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him for leaving. I'm like a scorned girlfriend at this point. I hate him for leaving me in the situation that he left me in. And yes, I know we won a national championship in '98 with Tubby, and it was with Patino's players, but that could have been like a dynasty from
that
'96
could
to
have.
2000 if he would have just stayed.
Could you
God,
imagine?
that burns me up.
Could you imagine how many championships we would have had if he stayed? I say that all the time. Like the championships we could have had if he would have stayed would probably we'd be up there with UCLA. No doubt
Dude,
about it.
if he would have made a couple different coaching changes in '97 in the national championship against Arizona, we would have won back to back. And then
Yep.
we would have had a chance for a three-peat in '98. So that 3-year run was magical, right? '96, '97, '98. And that totally discredited and made me forget about the whole Christian Laettner Duke thing. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Because we were the cream of the crop in '96, '97, '98. You know, but if he would have stayed like he should have, we
Yep.
probably would have had 2 or 3 more. So we would have
And
been the dominant team in the '90s.
oh, absolutely. More than we already are, really, because I feel like, yeah, we got our name in the '80s, all that, yeah. But I think the '90s kind of put a really big stamp on who we are. Like, that's Kentucky. Like, '80s, '70s, '60s, yeah, we became the greatest tradition, absolutely. But I think in the '90s, that's where everybody kind of put or noticed us more. I think more people became fans that wasn't from here or around we became more popular at that point because how many people on that team went to the pros. There was a lot. You had Walker, you had um,
But yeah,
um, now I'm drawing
from
a
which
blank.
from which time? The
90,
'96 team.
yeah,
That whole time, you had Walter McCarty, Tony Delk.
there it is, there it is.
Yeah. So, like a lot of those guys went pro, and
Yeah,
Tony Delk had a solid career. So did Walter McCarty. They played
yeah,
multiple years in the NBA. So,
and
I just
Walker.
Antoine Walker, yeah, absolutely,
You
absolutely.
know,
You know,
that was
I just
definitely. I think absolutely, absolutely.
he could have been like the way that everybody views Coach K and Dean Smith and these guys with UNC and Duke. He could have been the same guy at Kentucky if his ego didn't get in the goddamn way. That's what it
Yep.
was. That's exactly what it was. He always wanted more. He always wanted more. He always wanted more. That's why he was with the Knicks. And Topher knows he coached the Knicks for 2 seasons. Then he left, went back to college, Providence, then Kentucky, and all this other crap, but he leaves Kentucky to go to the Celtics. I just, for the life of me, I can't get over that. He already coached in the NBA and he sucked at it, so why go back? You know what I mean? So
And see, I didn't know that it was for the Tim Duncan lottery. I didn't know that. I did not know
yeah,
that.
yep,
Now it makes
yep,
sense. Now it makes
yeah.
sense.
And they,
What?
honestly, I think the Celtics that year, one of the guys they drafted was Mercer, Ron Mercer from Kentucky.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, it was. Yep.
So they ended up getting a Kentucky guy, but so Pitino got a Kentucky guy, but I think that was like the number 6 overall pick because they didn't. I think they had 3 and 6 that year instead of the number 1 pick. So they lose out on the Tim Duncan sweepstakes. He makes a mistake. He realizes it. He regrets it to this day, and you broke a lot of our hearts, Rick. So I hope you lose Saturday, and I hope you sprain your ankle walking off the court. Simple as that. Simple as that.
I got
All I'm
one
gonna
thing to
say.
add to that. I got one thing to add to that. Do you think, what if, all right, here goes with the what ifs. What happens if the Celtics get Tim Duncan? Does he still regret leaving Kentucky? And does the Celtics go on to win more and more and more championships? Or does he still suck in the coaching section of the NBA? Do you think that all that changes? Do you think Tim Duncan would have changed that for him, or do you think he still would have sucked and still would have came back to college?
I think that's a tough thing to speculate, but honestly, I think Tim Duncan going to the Spurs was the perfect situation for Tim Duncan at that time because of David
Absolutely.
Robinson being there, right? So the Celtics didn't have that same situation, so I think the Celtics still would have got a title at some point with Tim Duncan, but I don't think Tim Duncan gets 4 or 5 like what he did with the Celtics or what he did with the Spurs. And I don't think he has as dominant a career as he did with the Spurs if he's with the Celtics. To your point, I think Pitino still fails at some point, and people look at him going, "How do you fail having Tim Duncan on your team?"
True that. True that. I like
So
it. I like it.
that's my version. That's my first crack at this trash talk. And Patino, you're still a scumbag to me. You know, I won't welcome you back to Kentucky. I know Pope will, and some of these fans will because you won us a national championship. But you're dead to me. You will always be dead to me because you left for the Celtics. And as a Sixers fan, you went to the Celtics. So you already coached the Knicks, then you went to the Celtics. So I'm sitting here as a Sixers fan going, not only did you go to my 2 rivals in the NBA, but then you go to my goddamn rival in the college basketball and go to Loserville. So I got no love for you, buddy. I got no love for you. I appreciate 96, but you can move the hell on. I take Tubby over you any day of the week.
I'm not even going to try for trash talk this week. I can't top that. Just going to add in, you know, I hated you. I did hate you for a long, long time. I don't love you now. Let me go ahead and put it that way. I don't. Oh my God, Patino. I'm glad you left Loser. Well, you didn't leave Loserville. You were pushed out. Do I think that you might have been wrongfully pushed out? Yes, in a way. Do I think you knew about everything? Absolutely not. Do I think you knew about a little bit? Yes. Do I think you knew about the strippers and the whores? I don't think so. But I do think you knew money was getting spent on recruits. I just don't think you knew for what, and then you are the fall guy, which sucks. Had to be somebody. Why not you? In that case, I do still hope that you get your ass kicked on Saturday. Absolutely, no doubt about that. There's not a there's not a no. I want you to get obliterated on Saturday. I want us to come out and dominate every aspect of the game and walk away just floating off the ground, our feet off the ground. We'll just come off the court. Boom. That's what I want. Other than that,
Would love it. Would love
thank
it.
you for coming back. Thank you for coming back at Big Blue Madness. That was cool for me seeing you for that. But other than that, I'm siding with my co-host K Money. To hell with you, Pitino. To hell with you.
That's it. Look, I'm not taking anything away from him. I think he's a great coach in college. I think he's proven that he is a great coach, but he's a scumbag for leaving a dynasty. He left a dynasty on the table, and we had a chance to be one of the storied dynasties. I don't think they were going to be the UCLA dynasty of 10 straight Final Fours or whatever UCLA did, whatever, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like that era of dominance. But for a 6-7 year stretch, could have been dominant. Could have been
Could have been
dominant.
dominant.
And he decided to leave and take his ball to the NBA, and the rest is history. So, it is what it is, man. Him and Calipari sucked in the NBA, and they turned out to be kind of okay when they were at Kentucky, right? So, like I said, I think for me, I'm more envious of the fact that he spent 16 seasons at our arch rival than 16 seasons
Yes.
at Kentucky. I think that's what pisses me off more than anything, because that should have been his time with Kentucky. So,
Absolutely. His golden years got wasted jumping
yeah.
around and then to Loserville. Absolutely. I agree with you 110%. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, look, I hope he sprains his ankle. I'm not going to wish any major ill. Like, I'm not going to say I want you to choke on a chicken wing or anything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get that drastic. But I want you to sprain your ankle. I hope they put some, like, hair messed up shit in your shampoo, that when you wash
Ooh.
your hair falls out, because his hair is like his big thing. He's always been a big
Yep.
hair guy. So I hope his hair falls out and get patches of it everywhere. You know. But
I
the
like
main
it.
thing is, I hope you get your ass kicked on Saturday. I hope you get your ass kicked, and I hope Pope finally, shows you what it feels like. You know what I mean? I hope he
Yes.
shows you what it feels like to get dominated in a way that he doesn't usually get dominated in.
I like it. I
Especially in
like it.
Catlanta. In Catlanta.
Boom,
So
bow, bing, boom. Oh, to add to trash talk. Oh, what happened, Loserville? Huh? What happened? Right? Didn't they lose? Didn't they lose?
they got
Right?
they got hammered,
Yeah.
hammered.
Boom. Boom. And I don't even care that it's from Tennessee. I don't. I hate Tennessee too, but it happens. It happens. Thank you, Tennessee. You you put an ass whooping on Loserville, and I appreciate that. So how the mighty have fallen, huh? How the mighty have fallen. That's all I wanted to say.
Yep. And you're always going to be Loserville. You're always going to
Always,
be Loserville. It doesn't matter.
always.
It doesn't matter.
And I guess with that, I guess we'll end the episode on the trash talk segment. Yeah, let's do that. We'll
Love
end
it.
that. That way we have that to go to bed with, and we can hold that aggression in until Saturday.
It's like a therapy session, you know?
Yeah,
It really is.
yeah.
It felt
They
good to
say to
get that off
release
my
the
chest.
they
Yeah,
say to release the
it
aggression,
felt
but I
good.
think we want to hold this in until Saturday. Then we release
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah, listen, that was just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Patino. I was just giving you a little preview of what this trash talk segment is going to always be about. It's always going to be something. And I guarantee you, every trash talk segment from here on out, I will bring it back to Patino. I will have something to say about Patino. That might be the running theme every single week, where
I
I
like it.
finish
I'm
my
going to
trash
hold you
talk
to that.
segment talking shit on Patino.
I'm holding you to it. I'm holding you to it. I don't care how or where we go with it. I'm going to make you circle it, somehow connect it back to Patino. Every time.
It's been almost 30 years of pent up anger towards that man. So I'm sure I got a lot of it. I'm sure I got a lot of it I can say, brother. A lot of it.
Oh my God. Well, with that being said, to all a great week. Beat St. John's, go Cats, and Kyle still hates you, Patino.
Still hate you. Still hate you, buddy.
Oh my God, that was the greatest thing ever, dude. I swear to God, man.